What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this really quick conversation about this season's Love is Blind, season 6 of Love is Blind. So, because it comes on a streaming service and they dump a whole bunch of episodes on you all at once, I can't go episode by episode, but I'm just going to kind of summarize my feelings and what's been going on so far. And thank you to the person in my comments who asked me if I was going to be reviewing Love is Blind, because that actually reminded me to actually watch it, and I'm glad that I did. Now the new episodes are coming on tomorrow, February the 21st, so I'm a little bit late in the game, but y'all, there's some stuff that I got to talk about. I got to get off my chest because these people this season are a hot mess. Let's talk about Chelsea and Jimmy. So when they were still in the pods, Jimmy was having a relationship with both Chelsea and Jessica, and Jessica was a lot. She was very alpha female. She was very aggressive, very demanding, very controlling, in my personal opinion. Now, obviously, this goes without saying that everything that I say about these people is my personal opinion. And yes, we can all agree to disagree. And, that's what makes life so interesting. But these are just my personal opinions. I'm not stating facts, okay? So to me, in my personal opinion, Jessica was a lot. And I think at the end, when she found out that Jimmy had said, "I love you" to Chelsea, she kind of went full throttle. I think Jessica was very competitive, and I think that she wanted to come out as the one that Jimmy chose, obviously, but not because she wanted to be with Jimmy. I think because she's just very competitive and she wanted to beat Chelsea. And she wanted to be the chosen one, not because of any particular feelings that she may have had about Jimmy, just the fact that she just wanted to be the one that won and was able to move forward on the show. Because once she found out that he had told Chelsea that he loved her, that's when she brought out that letter. Because when they came into the pods, I think for their very last date or encounter, in his pod there was a box of some stuff, I don't know, mementos, gifts, or whatever that she had given him. And one of the things that she had given him was a letter that she claimed she wrote years ago, a letter to her future husband, or a letter about her future husband. So she was going full throttle in, doing this last minute Hail Mary, trying to just really do all that she could to try to convince him to choose her. So she had the letter, which was going to tug on his heartstring. It was really sentimental. Like I said, it was a letter to her future husband, or about her future husband. So it was very emotional, very sentimental. And then she kept telling him that out of all the men, he's the only one that makes her body react. And she kept on saying that. She's like, I have a physical reaction with you. You're the only one that gives me a physical reaction. And because of the fact that she's such an alpha female to me, she doesn't know how to be soft and alluring and seductive. Well, she did in the pods. I don't know if she does when she's actually in front of a man, but in the pods, to me, she really didn't, because it's like she was trying to, turn him on sexually, like to let him know that, she was to let him know that she was attracted to him, and that he was making her body do things. And it was like a desperate effort to try to get this man at the very last minute, and none of that worked, right? He ended up choosing Chelsea. Now, in my opinion, I think he chose Chelsea because he thought he was choosing a Megan Fox lookalike, because of the fact that Chelsea had told him that people had told her that she resembled or looked like Megan Fox. As soon as she said that to him, Jimmy got really excited. And so I think from then on, all he could vision when he heard Chelsea's voice was Megan Fox's body and face. And I think he truly thought he was getting Megan Fox. Now, ironically, the girl that he didn't choose was the one, I think, who was more on the league of I'm not saying that Megan Fox is the most beautiful woman in the world. And I understand that Megan Fox has had a lot of work. She's got the money to make her body and her face look however she wants it to look. So between Chelsea and Jessica, obviously to me, Jessica, I think, is more what Jimmy had in mind of someone who looks like a conventionally attractive celebrity or whatever. So he thinks he was getting a Megan Fox and Chelsea, but he was actually letting go someone who was closer to a Megan Fox aesthetic, which is Jessica. Okay, I don't know if that made any sense to y'all. So he chooses Chelsea, and I think when he first saw her, I think he was disappointed. I think also I don't think she should have said that. I don't know. I'm not the kind of person who would encourage people to tell other people that they resemble a particular celebrity, especially if that particular celebrity is, conventionally or accepted by the mainstream as being attractive, because because you're going to be held to that standard. So when he first saw her, I don't think he was pleased with what he saw. I think that he had this expectation of someone who's Megan Fox like, and she's now when you go to her TikTok, because Chelsea did a TikTok where she was calling the people that had ever told her in her life that she looked like Megan Fox. She was asking them to come out and vouch for her and confirm what she said, that they had said that she looks like Megan Fox. And everybody in her comments was like, "Girl, you look like Megan Fox. You look just like her. Oh my God, you are so Megan Fox." I don't really see it. She says it's because of the fact that she has the dark hair and the light eyes like Megan Fox, that people have told her that. Now, just because you don't look like Megan Fox does not mean that you're not attractive. It just means that you don't look like a lab manufactured celebrity. Okay. So it's not a bad thing that she doesn't look like Megan Fox. Chelsea is pretty in her own right. She is an attractive woman. She is, a real woman. She's attractive. She's natural. There's nothing wrong with how Chelsea looks, but I think that Jimmy had these expectations, right? So from the get-go, I think he was disappointed in her. And I think from the very beginning, I don't think he was really into her from day one. So from there on, they go to the resort, and whenever they would have a conversation, I felt like he wanted to tell her, "But girl, I thought you said you look like Megan Fox. I'm still waiting for Megan Fox to show up." I really felt like there were times when he really wanted to ask her, "Why did you say you look like Megan Fox?" Because I think that was his deciding factor. I really do. I think that was his deciding factor, because Jessica had a much stronger personality, but you know how men are. They're very visual. They're more into the physical. So I think he was just like, you know what? Instead of taking a risk with Jessica, and Lord knows who I'm going to get, I might as well go with a for sure bet with Chelsea, because she claims that she looks like Megan Fox. So I think there were times when he wanted to ask her, "Why did you tell me that?" Because I think he realized as soon as he saw her, they had made a mistake. Okay. So at the resort, her neediness really came out, because she kept on asking him, "Am I what you expected? Do you like me? Are you attracted to me? Do you think I'm pretty?" Like, she was constantly needing reassurance from him. Now, he did ask her, "Why did you tell people that I said I loved you?" Because I was supposed to be just between the two of us. And Chelsea had said, well, she didn't tell people. She only told one person, and that person went and blabbed it to somebody else, and Jessica ended up finding out. So he did ask her that question, but he wanted to ask her so much more. So let's talk about the beach party. So when they go to the beach party where they meet the other couples, early on, Jimmy was bringing all this attention and spotlight to AD. And because AD had this, AD has a banging body, we all see it. We all know she has a beautiful body, and she had on this outfit that really accentuated all of her womanly curves, right? So he makes a point to talk about AD's body, saying that her body looked really stacked. She looked, really good or really nice or whatever. And he's saying this while Chelsea is standing next to him. Now, he already knows that Chelsea probably has insecurity issues about her body. Now, Chelsea is not fat. She's not big. I don't consider her plus size. I consider her very average, very normal. But compared to the other girls who are very health conscious, who probably have like a very rigid, health and fitness routine, compared to them, maybe she's not as small, maybe she's not as whatever, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. She's not fat. She can wear a bikini. I thought she looked really cute in her bikini. There was nothing wrong with her in her bikini. Absolutely nothing wrong with her at all. She's a natural woman. She's a real woman. And she's not a size 0 for sure, but I don't think she's, plus size. I don't think she's plus size. I think she can go to any department store and find clothes on the rack that can fit her. I don't think she has to go to a special plus size type store like a Lane Bryant or whatever to get her clothes. So, anywho, let's get back to AD and the beach party. So at the beach party, Jimmy starts, showing all this attention to AD. He makes a comment about her body and how nice it looks. And at first, Chelsea is, going along to get along. She was like, oh yeah, my girl looks really good. And she even tells AD, hey, Jimmy thinks that your body looks really nice. And then from there on, Jimmy completely forgot that Chelsea was there. So him and AD are having a conversation. Like he's purposely starting up this conversation with AD and ignoring Chelsea completely on purpose because he knows exactly what he's doing. That's why he's a shyster. That's why I call him a shyster, because he knows what he's doing. He's being very manipulative. He is slowly making his exit plan. Slowly but surely he is making his exit plan because he doesn't have he doesn't have the strength, he doesn't have the spine, the backbone to tell her exactly how he feels about her. So he's going to start playing these mind games. He's going to start gaslighting her. He's going to start playing these stupid manipulative games to make her feel more insecure about herself, for her to get upset with him so that she can be the one to break off the relationship. That's how I'm seeing it. Now later on, I could be wrong, later on, as he spends more time with her, he might start falling in love with her. Who knows? But where we're at now, up to episode 6, it seems like he's trying to figure out an exit plan. So he's giving all this attention to AD. He's making Chelsea feel some kind of way about herself. He kind of ignores her throughout the whole entire beach party. All the other couples are coupled up, being really lovey-dovey, and he's giving all this attention to AD. Now, I'm not understanding why Clay did not ever step in to pull his woman away, but whatever. So they get to the hotel room and Chelsea lets him know exactly how she feels about how he acted at the beach party. And of course, he's going to act bewildered and he'd befuddled and like, oh my God, what are you talking about? So there were moments when there were certain situations that she had called out that he completely denied even happening. And it's like, boy, they're all on video. Like the cameras caught you. I think he did actually twirl her around because she accused him, you took her hand, you twirled her around. And he was like, I didn't do that. And then she said, you kept on talking to her, completely ignored me. Like at the bar, your back was turned towards me or whatever she said about what happened at the bar when he had given all his attention to AD. And he was like, you weren't even near the bar. And she was. And so he knows that she was. He knows that she's telling the truth, but he's going to gaslight her so that she can be so upset, so emotionally broken that she's going to want to break up with him. That's the game he's playing. So they have a conversation. She talks about how hurt she was. Why did you do this? And you made me feel bad and blah, blah, blah. You're ignoring me, giving all this attention to AD. He denies it. He's like, oh, baby, I love you. I love you. I only want to be with you. I have the eyes for nobody else. And then after they have this conversation, she tries to like smooth things out. She tells him, no, I love you. I love you. And, she takes his hand. And every time that she took his hands to hold, I felt like she wanted him to sit down next to her and to probably hold her and comfort her. But at the end of the conversation, he got up and he walked away. Now, of course, they showed us the teaser of what's going to be coming up later on in the season where they meet the other people from the pods and he's going to meet Jessica. And it seems like there's going to be something going on with Jessica. Now, like I said, to me, Jessica seems like a very competitive woman. I don't think she gives two whatever about Jimmy. I think she just wants to be the one to come out winning. I think she just wants to be the one to come out number one. I don't know if she's gonna, they make it look like maybe there's something that happened between Jimmy and Jessica. I don't know, but that's how the teaser made it look like. And if that's actually what happened, Jessica's only doing it because she just wants to beat somebody else. I don't think she's gonna really care about Chelsea and her feelings. I don't think she even really gives a damn about Jimmy and his feelings. She just wants to be the one that got chosen. Moving on from there, let's talk about AD and Clay. So in the pods, AD had a relationship with Clay and she also had a relationship with Matthew. Now, the relationship with Matthew got a little bit stronger when Clay told her that if she didn't look a certain way or if she didn't have certain physical attributes, he was not going to want to get married to her. That she had to be physically appealing to him. He has to be physically attracted to her. Now, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of this show, which is to prove that love is blind. And so she basically told him, him, well, that's not what this is about. So I can't hang with you if that's how you feel, that I have to look a certain way. So she kind of broke it off with him. So then she started giving more of her attention to Matthew. And Matthew ended up being, just I don't know if he was trying to be a player, because he failed miserably. He was feeding both women that he was dating, feeding them the same exact script, not even thinking to himself that they're going to go back to the women's headquarters and compare notes. Stupid. So she was vibing with Matthew, and he was making her all these promises, saying all the right things. I want to marry you, I want to ask your father for your hand in marriage. Unfortunately, her father had passed away, and he told her, like, we can leave right now, me and you, I want to propose to you on a mountain, saying all of this stuff to really, like, make her feel like this guy's really interested in me, he really wants to. But he was basically just trying to cover all his bases so that at least one woman would say yes to him. So whatever he was telling her, he was telling another female the same exact thing. That other female told AD what Matthew was telling her, and that's when she realized, okay, Matthew's a shyster as well. So she, for a while, for like a hot minute, she had no one. But then your boy Clay, he thought about what he said. He realized that if he didn't try to clean it up, and if he didn't try to retract what he said and do better, he was going to get left behind and not be able to progress in the show. So I'm pretty sure he has his eyes on the prize to make it to the very end, whatever that end is, but at least to make it out of the pods. And so he went ahead and he apologized to AD, and he got back in her good graces and told her, it's not about looks, I really do love you as a person, all the crap that they tell each other so that they can choose one another. So she ends up falling for the okie doke, and so they made it out of the pods together. He proposed, she said yes, fine. So now we get to the resort. Oh, before we get to the resort, when he first saw her, okay, y'all, I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it all the way 100 with y'all, because I have to just tell you exactly how I felt. I'm going to try to keep it real cute. I'm going to try to keep it politically correct. But I felt like when he first saw AD, I think that he was attracted to her for sure. But I don't think AD is really his type. I don't know. I just don't feel like AD is really his type. I think body wise, she might be his type. But I feel like he's the kind of guy, I don't know why I get this vibes from him, but I get the vibes that he's the kind of guy that probably dates more exotic looking women, ethnically ambiguous women, or women, or if he does date black women, he likes them to be light, bright, damn near white, mixed, whatever. I think that's more of his preference. I could be wrong. We might look at all of his exes and they all look like AD. I could be completely wrong, but that's the vibe that I got from him initially. So when he first met her, like I said, he was attracted to her, but he was very like handsy with her. He was very like touchy-feely with her. And I felt like for him, it was really physical for him. Like he was really, really physically attracted to her. And because of the fact that he couldn't keep his hands off of her, I'm thinking that, all he really wants to do is sleep with her. And then maybe after that, he's going to be gone. And, I think he's going to lose interest in her once they do sleep together. That's just my personal opinion. So when they get to the resort, everything is fine between them. They're very physically attracted to one another. There is definitely a lot of chemistry between them. At the beach party, he was loving with her. He was very like physical with her, a lot of PDA with her. And like I said, he is attractive. By the way, before the beach party, when they were having drinks at the bar, just the two of them, she shared a lot with him. She showed a lot of vulnerability with him, talking about her father passing away, talking about her therapy and her relationship with her dad and all this and that, and her fears about getting married and her fears about not ever being loved and all this other stuff. And he said the right things, but something about Clay to me is not genuine. So even though he's saying all the right things, to me, the words that he was saying was lacking sincerity. I think he just knows how to say the right things at the right moment, but it just did not feel very sincere to me. So at the beach party, I felt like there was an incident where, so we have three guys together. We have Clay, we have Jeremy, and we have Jimmy, and they're sitting together. And then AD comes and she sits on Clay's lap, and Jeremy makes a joke about something about bean dip. And bean dip is something, I think, in the women's quarters. It was a joke that was started by Laura referring to AD's breast or something. I don't know what the joke was about. I don't know what bean dip is. I have no idea what the hell was going on. But he said bean dip. Jeremy says bean dip to AD, and then Laura comes and explains that it has something to do with Laura touching AD's breast. I don't know what it was, but something to do with AD's breast. And so Clay didn't like that, or he appeared that he didn't like that. Okay, like to me, he looked confused. He didn't look like he was upset necessarily. To me, Clay just looked really confused. And if the joke was implying that Jeremy touched AD's breast like the way Laura did, and something about that means bean dip, then Clay was not going to go for that, obviously. Like, he wasn't going to go for that. And I think he even told Jeremy, don't you dare touch her, or whatever, something to that effect. To me, it seemed like it wasn't that serious with Clay and Jeremy. It didn't seem like it was that serious. AD made it very serious with Laura. And AD was kind of like telling Laura, my man didn't like that joke, and why would you set up your man to say that in front of Clay? And Laura was like, it was just a joke between me and Jeremy. I did not mean for him to go and say this in front of anybody. And so AD was kind of upset with Laura. She was kind of checking Laura for that. Well, my man doesn't like that. My man was offended by that. You might think it was a joke, but my man didn't think it was a joke, or whatever she said. But to me, I felt like Clay was either too drunk to really understand what the hell was going on, or it really didn't bother him that much. Now, Jeremy started getting kind of in his feelings about it, because he thought that Laura set him up to look like a fool. And so his feelings got hurt, but we'll get to that later. So to me, I say all of that to say this. AD kind of came across to me as a woman who's like a pick-me. The way she was like very protective of Clay, and the way that she felt like she had to check Laura because she felt like Clay was either embarrassed or upset or all of the above, and that she felt like she had to like defend him and protect him, and all of this my man and my man. It just came off very pick-me, and she seems like the kind of woman that becomes whatever her man wants her to be. Like, those type of chameleon type women. Like, if a dude likes a girl who is really girly, she becomes girly. If a dude likes a girl that is really sporty and athletic, she becomes very sporty and athletic. That's how AD comes across to me. Like, she has no identity of her own. Her sole purpose is to become whatever her man wants her to be. And she does that to keep the man, obviously. And so, Clay is a good looking guy. He's tall, he's muscular, has a nice face. So I can definitely see AD acting like that with him. But that's just my personal opinion with AD. But I feel like with AD and Clay, I think with them, it's a lot of sexual chemistry and not really any kind of emotional connection. And I think that once they do the deed, it's a wrap. Moving on to Brittany and Kenneth. Now, Brittany and Kenneth, to me, obviously they're an interesting couple, because race is going to probably be like maybe an issue in their relationship in some way or another. So they were only each other's chosen ones, I guess, in the pods. I don't think Kenneth was really talking to anybody else. I don't think Brittany was seriously talking to anybody else either. So it was basically, they were like into each other from the beginning. When they saw each other, obviously, well, I'm going to stop using that word. When they saw each other, it looked like, there was an attraction there. I felt like Brittany was kind of holding back a little bit. I don't know. I felt like Brittany was kind of holding back. I felt like Kenneth was definitely attracted to her. He acted like, she was breathtakingly beautiful. Brittany's a cute girl. She's a cute little Southern belle. And I don't know if Brittany has ever dated anybody outside of her race, but Kenneth has not. And he does say that, I've never dated any other type of woman other than a black woman. So I don't know if he's going to struggle with that or not, because at the beach party, he had a conversation with AD, and I felt like AD was kind of, okay, let's talk about that. So at the beach party, there was a scene with AD and the other girls and Brittany. It was all the other girls. I'm saying the other girls, like there's 20 of them. There's only 5 women. So all the women were sitting together, and Brittany was talking about, all these wonderful, chivalrous, caring things that Kenneth does to go above and beyond for her. And she gave an example. Y'all, she gave this example of this man bringing out her damn flip-flops, and the way she talked about it and the way that she built up the story, it was like he had built a house for her with his bare hands. She was like, oh my God, let me tell you, I was like fixing my hair. No, she has a southern accent. I was fixing my hair and I was like running late. And then all of a sudden, he came up and he put my flip flops right there in front of me, just ready for my feet to slide into. Girl, he pulled out your flip flops for you and you're swooning like this because he pulled out some damn flip flops. Girl, please. So as she's telling the story and she's building it up to bigger than what it is, I felt like AD was kind of like either not interested or a little bit jealous. I don't know. That's the vibes that I got from AD, because as soon as she told that story, AD turned around to Chelsea and turned her back towards Brittany and Laura and was like, well, I want to hear about you and your man, completely, cutting herself off from Brittany's conversation. That's just how I felt. But then later on, we see that Kenneth had a conversation with AD, and he was and I don't understand, maybe because she was the only other black person there. I don't know, because Clay was there, but maybe Clay was drunk. So he's having a conversation with AD, talking about, the reservations, not the reservations, but how it is for him to be dating someone outside of his race for the very first time. And so he's explaining to her that he's never dated a white girl before, but he was feeling good about it. He was saying nothing but positive things. And I felt like AD was kind of bringing a little bit of negativity to it, just a little bit. I don't know, when she said, even though you're dating a white girl or whatever, y'all are going to be having black children. No, the first thing she said was, is she ready to deal with how the world is going to look at y'all? And I know that there's obviously I know there's a lot of people who are still not down with interracial relationships, but yeah, I don't think it's as bad as it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. Okay. I know there's still issues because racism still exists and prejudices still run strong. And I get all of that, but I don't think it's that big of a deal as it was back then. You're going to have pockets of areas in the country where it's just not accepted, it's not tolerated. But I think for the majority of the people, especially if you live in a pretty progressive city or a pretty progressive town, I don't think people are going to be like staring you down because you're an interracial couple. I just don't think so, but I could be wrong, because I live in a big city, so it ain't nothing over here. So when she says, is she ready to handle that? And I was just like, I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe it was a good question. Maybe that's something he needs to consider. Can she handle, maybe there could be prejudices coming from her own family. Can she handle prejudices coming from other people? Is she ready to handle it? So that was a good question. I take it back, AD. I'm sorry. That was a good question. And then she also asked him, is she ready to raise black children? Now, I kind of took offense to that just a tiny, tiny bit, because, I don't think that we should automatically. Now, I understand that the world looks at mixed children. If they're mixed with black and white, the world kind of looks at them as black, and that's it. Period. Point blank, you're black. But I still feel like that the individual should be the one to decide and it's all because we have to make people choose, which I think is stupid. Because what is pigmentation anyway? It's nothing. So I think that to make people choose, are you black? Are you white? What are you? You need to make a decision. I think it's sort of unfair. I think the person should, anyways, for her just to automatically say that the kids are going to want to be seen as black. I was like, how do you know that? Maybe the kids are going to want to see themselves as mixed. Maybe they're going to want to embrace both sides. Now, I understand the world and the public might just automatically check them off as black. That's it. Because you're mixed with black, you're black, conversation over. But the person might not, I don't know. I was just kind of like, I think they are aware of I think at least Kenneth is aware of the struggles that are ahead of them. And if he felt any kind of way about having children with a white woman or being with a white woman, I think he would have not chosen her. I think he would have not chosen her if he felt like it was going to be a struggle for him. I just wish that she was a little bit more supportive of that relationship and just be like, you're going to have some, whatever. Your kids are going to be fine. Y'all are going to be fine. Y'all going to make it. So, other than that, I don't see any other issue or anything else to talk about between Brittany and Kenneth. Moving on to Laura and Jeremy. So Laura and Jeremy, to me, Jeremy seems like a difficult person. He seems like a difficult person. He seems like a moody person. I don't like the kind of person like where you don't know what Jeremy you're going to get in any given moment. And because his unpredictability. So let's just start here. When they saw each other, it was fine. Okay. There was nothing. I wasn't swayed one way or the other when they first saw each other. Now, Jeremy was also dating Sarah Ann, and he made the decision to go with Laura because I think they had more in common, especially when it came to that Christmas story, when he painted this picture of how he expected Christmas to be with his own family, like with his own children and his wife. And she acted like that's exactly what she wanted as well. So they probably have more in common. And that's why he ended up choosing Laura over Sarah Ann. But when they got to the resort, it seemed like, maybe she showed some controlling issues, like maybe she was a little bit too controlling for him. I don't know. And plus, maybe he was too goofy for her because there was a scene of them at the swimming pool where he was just being really goofy and silly. And she acted like, she was kind of over it. And he still wanted to be goofy and silly. And then there was another scene where they're talking about his Hawaiian shirts and his motorcycles. And she told him, no Hawaiian shirts. You can only have one motorcycle. Like she's already exhibiting all of this control, and I don't think he's really down with that. I don't know. But at the resort, because of that whole bean dip joke, and he felt like Laura had set him up, his mood flipped. I don't know if it's because of the alcohol or if this is just how he is, but his whole entire mood completely flipped. He felt like, Laura betrayed him. He felt like Laura set him up to look like a fool or something, or to embarrass him. And Laura's basically like, I told you a joke, but I didn't tell you to go blab it to everybody else. And he felt like maybe she wasn't supporting him. I don't know what Jeremy's deal was. I'm not trying to make any excuses for him. I don't know what was wrong with him. I think maybe he had too much to drink. So he tells her that he wants to go home. And so she asked him, do you want to go back to the hotel or home? He was like, no, I want to go home. And he got up and he left and he walked away and he left her there. And so that was not a good look at all. Not a good look. But then again, I don't know. So the teasers that they showed us was basically that maybe him and Sarah Ann might reconnect. I don't know. So moving on to our last and final couple, Amy and Johnny. Not much to say there. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. So there's not much to talk about. She did mention that she's more used to ethnic men, and he is, just your regular white Caucasian guy. But he seems to be really into her. I think that she's really into him. I think they're kind of growing on each other. And so to me, they seem to be fine. I don't have much to say about that other than the fact that, she was leaning more towards, or she was expecting somebody, with darker features, and he was not that, but she's still cool with that. And I think to convince herself that this is the guy for her, she tells the story in the beginning after she saw him that her father had a dream that her children were going to have light colored hair. And I guess it's just to convince herself that this might be the guy for her and to stick it through. I don't know. But I have absolutely zero faith in Chelsea and Jimmy. I have zero faith in Laura and Jeremy. I have, maybe 2% faith in AD and Clay. And Brittany and Kenneth, to me, that's the wild card. I don't know which way they're going to sway. So yeah, that's my little opinionation of Love is Blind. Like tomorrow they're going to be showing the next episode, so that's going to be interesting. Hopefully I'm going to have a chance to watch all of those a lot sooner and to come back here and get stuff off my chest a lot sooner as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.